大家好，我是 Olive Branch 的 Alan. So in today's time, it's very unique for human history because we have access to so much information that we've never had in our lives, in even human history. We don't know what is signal from noise and what is true from false. No industry is that more true than the fitness and nutrition industries. What is right? What is wrong? We never really know for sure. Is salt good for you or bad for you? Is fat good or bad? Carbohydrates, is that good or bad? Running, is that good for you or bad for your knees? Is changing your workout routine a good thing or is it not a good thing? So there's all these questions and they're always contradicting each other. And so it's really hard for the average person to know what they should be doing. It's so easy to get lost in all the headlines that are bombarding you every day that you never know what is the right and what is false, what is fake news. Even for me in this industry, I always feel like I'm lost in a sea of information and I have to really be very, very skeptical to find any sort of signal in that noise. In this video, I'm going to share a framework with you and some tips to hopefully help you navigate through the sea and give you some more tools in your mental toolbox so that you can decide what is right for you. The first point is to cultivate a critical mind. Be skeptical. Have critical thinking as a very important skill. You need to question everything and go deeper. Ask questions. Don't take anything at face value. Try to gain a deeper understanding of the topic so that you can go deeper and question more, so that you can ask yourself, does that really make sense? So in science, the burden of proof is on the person who's making a claim. The default is that nothing happens, nothing's related, nothing happens. So if you're trying to tell me that eating egg yolks is bad for you because it's high on cholesterol, well then that's a specific claim that you're making. You need to provide that evidence, that proof, to make that claim. Otherwise, I'll just be eating eggs until somebody says otherwise. So that's why it's important for me, if I'm going to accept your input, your nutritional advice, that egg yolks is bad, then why? Why is it bad? Then it is your responsibility to show me the evidence, the studies. Is there a cause and effect relationship? Mechanistic, meaning egg yolks can affect my cholesterol by spiking it. Cholesterol then is bad for me by affecting my arteries, etc. If you can show that, then fine. Then that's a strong case and I might believe you. But if you don't have that, or maybe your studies is just correlational, meaning all these people, they eat egg yolks and then 5 years later, 50% has a heart disease. Then if that's your study, you need to question that a little bit more. Maybe that same population has confounding variables, which I'll get into in a second. Scientific studies, they make guesses all the time. They always guess that something will affect something. There's some kind of connection, okay? There's a relationship. And this is what's called a hypothesis, which just is a fancy word that means I guess. So the null hypothesis is the standard state. It's the default state. Nothing happens. Nothing's affecting anything. Everything is just independent. The alternate hypothesis is the guess that the scientists are trying to prove. That's called the alternate hypothesis. So in the study that they now design, they have to show that the alternate hypothesis is more realistic than the null hypothesis. They have to prove that. How do they prove that? Well, that depends on how the study was structured. The design of the study really matters now. Scientific studies, they conclude using what's called statistical significance. For example, if they're trying to make a claim, the alternate hypothesis that warm milk makes you go to sleep quicker. Normally, let's say I fall asleep within 30 minutes, okay? Not too long, but not quick. And warm milk, however, if I drink warm milk, I can fall asleep quicker. So within 15 nights of experiment, that's the study, 10 nights, I can fall within 15 minutes to sleep by drinking warm milk. Now, 10 times out of 15, that sounds pretty convincing. You might actually conclude that warm milk makes me fall asleep quicker because 10 times out of 15, well, that's roughly 67%. That's pretty strong. So that percentage, that threshold, you can choose where you believe is enough percent for you to believe there's a connection. That's what it means by statistical significance, and all scientific studies have this threshold. Now, as I mentioned earlier, confounding factors are other variables that the scientists did not think about or control for in the design of the study. What that means is, well, let's just say that you learned out later that I was actually changing my workout routine. I started to work out after not doing any exercise for years. I started to do HIT, high intensity training, during the day, and then during the 15 nights, I just started doing it. Does that affect how quickly I fall asleep? Maybe. Maybe not. That's up to you to decide. But there's a lot of studies that also show that it does. Or another, for example, the study was done during the winter, when my bedroom is 5 degrees cooler than it was in the summer. Does that make any difference to how quickly I fall asleep? If you ask the sleep scientists, they'll for surely say yes. A cooler bedroom makes you fall asleep much faster, as the #1 factor to making you fall asleep is the temperature in your room. So all these confounding factors, if the scientists who designed the study did not consider it at the time and have no idea what the participants were doing in the study, that can have an impact to the study, the conclusion, the results. And so when the headlines come out from the journalists, newspapers, all they see is 10 out of 15. That's pretty good. I'm going to write that in my headline. The entire country reads this in the headline, and now they believe that warm milk makes you fall asleep faster. But they clearly didn't go into the details of the study. And if you did, you would have found out all these different confounding factors affecting the results. Now the whole headline can be different. So in conclusion, guys, I just want to stress again that you really want to just develop a really critical mind. Be skeptical. Ask the questions. You want to dig deeper. Don't just accept anything at face value. 2, try to start to curate a collection of experts that you trust, their opinion, their thought process. You know that they go deep into these topics. They're detail-oriented. They try to figure things out. If you at least have that, you can at least shortcut your way into understanding, accumulating more knowledge. But I still recommend that when you have the time, double back and do the questioning. Understand the topics so that you can still make up your mind in the end. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with a quote by Albert Einstein. And that is, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. And that is a way for you to understand that information coming in, it can be very, you might feel confident that you know everything. But actually, the more you learn, the more you realize that there's a whole other world of information that you actually don't know about. And so this humbles you to always be learning. In the end, there is a graph. It's a concept called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And that basically says people who are just starting to learn about a new topic, they actually think they know everything. But then as they learn more, their knowledge drops. They actually realize, oh my God, I was wrong about everything. And then finally, as they continue to learn, a lot of people quit. But if you keep learning more and more, you start to build your base of understanding once again. And so this is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's something I highly recommend you look into. And hopefully it can help you to realize that information is not what it always appears to be. I hope you found that useful. As always, please leave any questions or comments below, and I'll see you next time.